Welcome to Lessons in Dyslexic Thinking, conversations with some of the world's most inspiring dyslexics, where we learn what dyslexic thinking is and how we can employ it to change the world. I'm delighted to be joined by one of NFL's biggest stars, a real inspiration to young dyslexics everywhere. It's RASHAN Gary, linebacker with the Green Bay Packers. RASHAN, you were named as the All-USA Defensive Player of the Year by USA Today, and you've been making NFL history ever since. I've heard you say, having dyslexia means I go above and beyond in whatever I put my mind to. Failure has never been an option for me. That's a wonderful quote and very, very dyslexic thinking. Tell me more about how you've led into your sports career using your dyslexic thinking.
To be honest, I first started playing football in the 7th grade where I got diagnosed. I didn't really feel my superpower of having dyslexia with football until maybe about probably like my sophomore year in high school, when I started to get a little bit bigger. I started to understand the sport a little bit more, started to understand what I can and can't do, and you know, as I was getting taught the game, I have a good memory, so everything I was taught I was able to use, and I started to take off and started taking off faster than what I even thought I was able to and was going to do. So, you know, being able to, you know, have strength, height, fast, and, you know, being dyslexic, it was able to help me because I was able to put both and both together and come out with me.
And a lot of sports people talk about having a really good visual memory so they can sort of visualize the play. They just have to see it once and then they can visualize it. Is that something that you do?
Absolutely. That's something that I'm big on and that I key on. It could be different formations, different personnels, and I'm able to look at, you know, a guy having his foot dug in the ground a certain way, or having someone's weight on the tip of his fingers from my position, and I could kind of tell where the guy going, where the play is going to go to help me play better.
Yeah, that's an amazing dyslexic thinking skill. And also, I think teamwork, interacting with your team members and your coach, the sort of emotional intelligence is very important in sport as well, isn't it? Do you believe that?
Yeah, absolutely. Especially in my group, having a guy like me, you know, it kind of makes the learning fun because we have to get out, we have to go do things, you know, to get it in our muscle memory. So, you know, the guys get up, be active, and it's good because they learn how I learn, and, you know, they're open to it, and it's exciting. So we all enjoy it.
And how do you deal with failure? You say failure is not an option, so do you just persevere and drive through when things don't go the way you want them to go?
Yeah, in life you never fail, you always learn. There's always tests, and either you pass or you fail, or you even learn from it. So that's how I take life, and having my mom instill that in me. It don't matter how hard things get, there's always someone going through something harder, and you always have to have that type of perspective, and you have that type of perspective, you know, life is easy, and you just able to, you know, be faithful and do what you do.
And your mum, Jennifer, is a massive champion of yours. She's a wonderful, wonderful woman. That must have made a big difference, having that kind of mum growing up and that support.
Yeah, absolutely. Having a mom like that, able to, you know, keep your head up when, you know, you're asking yourself what's wrong, why you're behind in certain things, and then y'all finding out what's the cause of it all. And from that point to, you know, all right, this is what we're going to do to get right. And it's been hard days where I didn't want to practice what I was learning from the Dyslexia Center, but she made me, and that helped me to today.
And what would your advice be to kids at school now who are struggling with dyslexia?
Man, take your time, man. Be opened up about your emotions, you know, talk to your family, talk to your teachers, so they can understand how you're feeling, and once they understand how you're feeling, they can find a way to help you and find help. If you're just, you know, beating up on yourself and no one really knows, they don't understand how to, you know, take the first steps to help you. So, you know, you have to be open, communicating with your family, and that's really the first step.
And a lot of dyslexic people will say you've just got to find that one thing that you're good at, and school's never going to be that simple, but finding that one thing you're good at is all you need to do in life. Do you think that's true?
Absolutely. I feel like once you find that one thing that you really, truly love, the abilities that you do have and your superpowers that you do have, you're able to open up because, you know, that's something that you're giving your all and you're very passionate about.
Yeah, passion's everything, isn't it? And if you were able to go back, if your 7-year-old self was looking at what you're doing now, what do you think he'd feel?
Probably smile, laugh, give me a tap on the butt and say the job not done, God, keep going, but I'm happy where you are now.
That's amazing. Brilliant. Thank you so much, Rashan. That's absolutely fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Amazing to hear how NFL superstar RASHAN Gary uses his dyslexic thinking on the football field. Now let's hear from racing sensation Elliot Cox on how he uses it on the racetrack. Thanks so much for joining us, Elliot. You're a Pro Tour national karting champion and you founded your charity Driving for Dyslexia age 10. You've said your goal is to be the youngest winner of the Indy 500. I'd love to know how your dyslexic thinking helps you in your racing career.
My dyslexic thinking helps a lot with visualizing where I need to be on the track. Dyslexia can help you, for me at least, I can take like a mental snapshot of like a track map or something my coach sends to me and play it over in my head while I'm driving. That helps a lot. Dyslexic thinking with memorization of what my coaches say helps a lot as well. Lots of things in that sort.
And a lot of sports people talk about their sort of visual memory and their muscle memory. And I've heard Jackie Stewart, when we interviewed him, says that he can literally sense how to move around a race course. Is that something that you feel as well?
I'm not anywhere near as good as Jackie Stewart yet. Yet. The goal is to get there, but as the racing experience comes, the more I'm able to feel that sensation, and hopefully it gets to that point.
And do you think that racing has helped you overcome the difficulties and the confidence issues that most dyslexic people have?
Racing has been a good thing for me all around with the confidence of it. Media training, so I can do things like this, helps a lot. But I think it helps with the getting past the struggles with dyslexia. With racing, there's a lot of struggles to get past as well, and the mentality translates to dyslexic thinking a lot, getting past the hard tests in school or the hard reading I would have to do in school, just hardships in general that we have in life.
And how important do you think failure is?
I think failure is very important. In racing, you fail more than you succeed. It makes the good times feel even greater, and you learn more from your mistakes than you will from successes. I think failure is very important.
And failure at school, how do you overcome that side of things?
At school, failure, I went through a lot of Orton Gillingham tutoring. That helped a lot with the failure getting through it side of things. Orton Gillingham really pushed me to be a better version of myself as well, and it just helped a ton.
Yeah, it's the best way for us to learn to read, isn't it? And do you have, when you sort of hit a period of self-doubt, is there a way that you counteract it? Are you able to kind of use your self-talk to push through?
Self-doubt is something I try not to dwell on a lot. I have a mental toughness coach, Ben Newman, that a lot of people in sports have a mental toughness coach or a mental coach in general. The more you dwell on failure or mental hardships, the worse your performance on the course or on the field will be. So I just try to push past them, always think that you're the best you can, always think you can do it, never have any negative thoughts as much as you can, and yeah.
And is that something that you think would be good for all kids to think when they're struggling at school? It's about finding that thing you're really good at and thinking about that, isn't it, than dwelling on the failures?
Yeah, for sure. Always thinking about something you're good at, thinking about the greatest time you've had, the greatest success you've had helps a lot. Just pushing through and thinking of the good times that will come, and when you succeed, how great it's going to feel.
That sounds like very, very good advice. And where do you want to go next? What's the sort of goal for Elliot Cox with your racing?
I'm in USF 2000 right now, which is the second rung on the USF Pro Championships ladder. My goal is to be an IndyCar within 4 or 5 years.
And do you visualize that? Do you have a way of sort of leaning into it and seeing that happen?
I visualize it quite a lot. I have a simulator which helps a lot with the visualization. I drive the IndyCar a lot on like iRacing games because one, it's fun, and two, is where I think I'm going to be in a few years. And then before I go out on track for a race, I always think about where I am now, my goal for the race, and the ultimate goal, and try to keep that all in mind, because if you just live in the moment, then you won't get anywhere.
Yeah, very, very true. And do you have a mum or a dad or both that are your champions? Have they really helped you and pushed you through?
Both of my parents definitely helped me push through a lot. My mom has helped me with school all the way through, and my dad has helped me with the dyslexia side of things, helping me overcome them. And both of them have helped me with racing. They helped me promote myself in a great light, better than I could have ever. So, yeah, both of them.
Are either of them dyslexic, do you know?
My father is dyslexic. I don't think my mom is.
So did they help you to understand your strengths?
My dad did, for sure. We actually got diagnosed at around the same time. He was diagnosed a little bit before me and was the reason I got diagnosed. And we both decided we were going to think of dyslexia as not a struggle, but a challenge that we were going to overcome. And that helped me a lot in school. Even if kids made fun of me for being slow at reading, being slow at spelling, it wasn't ever necessarily a problem for me, just a challenge to overcome. And with tutoring and doing things like these as well, it just helps me overcome it, and both of us got through it together.
And you're really passionate about helping other kids, aren't you? You've got a charity, as we said at the beginning, and you've been very supportive of us as well. Why is that important to you?
I always have thought making a difference in the community is a great thing. I have a charity called Driving for Dyslexia that I founded when I was 10 years old. Justin Wilson was a dyslexic race car driver. He actually sat me down at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway when I think I was 7 or 8 and told me not to let dyslexia stop me and just to push through any struggles I have with it. And that really stuck with me, and when he passed away in a crash a few years ago, I wanted to find a way to carry on his legacy of helping other dyslexic children like me. And starting my charity Driving for Dyslexia is how I thought I would. Since I've started it, we've raised over $250,000 for teacher training scholarships and getting teachers trained in Orton Gillingham so they can better understand dyslexic children's struggles and help them learn to read better.
It's amazing how many dyslexic people really want to drive that change. I think change making and putting things right is something that we feel very passionate about. So if your 7-year-old self looked at what you've achieved now and what you're doing now, what do you think he'd think?
My 7-year-old self would be amazed at where I am in my racing career and what I've done to help the community. But I think my 7-year-old self would also tell me to keep pushing. We're not where we want to be in the ultimate goal of things, and just to keep pushing until you can't push anymore.
That's amazing advice. And what do you think, if you could give one piece of advice to children in school now, young people, what would it be?
Push past your challenges and don't let dyslexia or anything stop you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Elliot. That was brilliant. Thank you.
Thank you.
This podcast is sponsored by Microsoft, who, like us, are passionate about empowering dyslexic thinking. Check out their brilliant learning accelerator tools, including Reading Progress and Reading Coach, free with Microsoft 365 apps, by clicking the Microsoft link in the podcast notes. Join me next time when I'll be talking to top celebrity makeup artist Quinn Murphy on how his dyslexic thinking helps him connect powerfully with the people in his makeup chair.